Good morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today's video is about how to survive Hell Week. If you don't know what Hell Week is, it's the week before finals week. So some people in college have already passed Hell Week and have already passed finals week, but I haven't. My Hell Week is next week. Actually, right now it's in 2 weeks, but when you see the video, it'll be next week. But this video is to show you how I prepare for Hell Week, because I prepare for Hell Week pretty early and I want to give you guys time enough to prepare as well. So I just have a few tips that I want to share with you. Yeah, a few tips that I want to share with you to survive Hell Week, the week before finals, which is when all the projects are generally due. And if not, lucky for you, but they are for me. I have, I think, 4 or 5 big projects / papers that are due that week before finals. So here's how I'm going to prepare for that. I have 6 tips to share with how to survive Hell Week. And we'll be doing this real time of how I'm gonna try to survive Hell Week. So for me, Hell Week is next week. I have like 4 or 5 projects due. I can't really remember. So that's why my first tip is to make a list of everything. A list of everything that is standing in the way of me and the end of the semester. That includes all the exams that happen after Hell Week, but it's most important for Hell Week. So I kind of already made this list, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot. Here, let me show you. Also, I'm still sick, so woo. It doesn't really mean a whole lot if you just look at the list, you know? It's kind of just a list, and I kind of separated it by week, but not super, it's not like understandable for someone who doesn't like know what it is, so let me just show you. So here's the list I made. These are all the things that are standing in between me and the end of the semester. Now, that list looks disgusting. It's super long, and there's no way I'll be able to finish any of that, you know? That's how I feel about that. So my next tip is to take that list and make a rough schedule. Day by day, like, these are the things I would like to do on these days in order to make this list less daunting, you know? So that's what we're gonna do next. I kind of already did it, but then that plan fell through because some of the due dates got changed around, so I have to redo it. And it'll be a little easier this time because I did it like weeks and weeks ago and it was just like a lot, you know? Because I try not to forget that Hell Week is a thing, you know? But yeah, so I'm gonna do that now and I will show you. One thing that I'm gonna mention before we get into my rough schedule is how I plan my rough schedule. I just want to talk about prioritizing. You know, I always talk about prioritizing. Prioritizing is so important. Knowing what's important to you and what will benefit you the most can really help with what you plan to do on your like to-do list or whatever. Because as you all know, I love to-do lists, and if you don't know that, I love to-do lists. My advice for Hell Week and like projects, that type of to-do list, is to prioritize based on importance, length, and ease. So the importance is like when it's due, which one's coming up next, you know, that's what you should probably work on, is what's due the soonest, you know. But then also to think about the length, how long it's going to take you to do it and how big the project is, you know. Because if it's not due for a while, but it's like a huge project, you're going to want to take more time to work on it. And then ease, like if it's a really easy project or you expect it to be an easy project, even if it's kind of long, then you can push that back a little further than you would say something that's long and difficult to do. So for example, I know that essays for my Islam class usually take me much less time than essays for my film class, so I don't work on the Islam essay as much as I work on the film paper, even if they're due around the same time, or even if the Islam essay is due first. I would start working on the film paper before I work on the Islam essay, if that makes sense. Prioritizing things in that way based on importance, length, and ease is one way to work with your schedule, and that's the way that works best for me. So I tend to prioritize things based on how big the project is, more so than the due date. Well, of course I take the due date into account because I can't be working on it after the due date, you know, but that's usually what I do to prioritize my work. and I hope that makes sense. So this is where I'm going to plan Hell Week. Let's use a pencil so that I don't mess it up. So today is actually this Saturday before this Sunday. So this is this coming week for me. This is when this is when you'll see this. So, and then this is Hell Week and this is Finals Week for me. And then remember, I have my list up there on my computer. So first I need to get my planner, which is this, and look at all the due dates for these things. So my due dates are all highlighted in orange except for that one because it moved. So I'm going to start by putting the due dates on everything. So I'm going to get out an orange highlighter and a pink highlighter. The orange is for due and this is for exam. On Tuesday the 27th I have my art project due. And then that day I also have my film packet due. This is why this is Hell Week, because there's a million things due. These are kind of smaller, and this is just a draft of this. So now we go in with our pencil and make a plan of when to finish all of this poop. Here's a list of the things that I'm going to do today, just so I don't forget, you know. So today I'm going to finish reading Life of Pi. I'm going to finish the week 13 paper, and I'm going to start the art project. So that's what I'm doing today. We'll just put that off to the side. And then tomorrow, the key here is to not put too many things to do per day, because if and when, because I always do, but when I get behind, I don't want to be overwhelmed by I missed 5 things yesterday and I have 5 more to do today, because 10 is just too many tasks to do in one day. So I try to put 3 things down and hope for finishing at least 2 of them, and then the next day I'll only have like 4 things instead of like 10, you know? So that's the plan. Okay, after Hell Week, I'm going to leave this Saturday as a break, probably. Which it's going to end up being on Friday, and I'm going to take this Saturday to work, but, you know, we'll just pretend for now. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead, because I know myself. I know that I'm going to take the Friday instead of the Saturday, so I'm just going to go ahead and plan for that. I'm not going to do anything that Friday. So that means I'm going to write in, I'm just going to highlight actually in this yellow, like that. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? And write, take a break. Don't forget to schedule in those breaks, you know. There. And that's my plan. It doesn't look like a whole lot when I look at it like this, but these tasks feel so big and daunting, you know? Alright, and that's it for real. So this, and this that I'm going to do today, this is my rough plan of how to survive Hell Week. So this is my plan of how to survive Hell Week, and I'm going to tuck it up right here by my desk. It's on the floor now, but it's fine. So yeah, that's my plan of how to survive Hell Week. Now, I know that huge, big, daunting tasks seem really, really scary. And I know that because they seem really, really scary to me. Thinking that I have an 8 to 10 page paper due in a week and a half, well, I don't like that at all. But yeah, thinking that I have a big 8 to 10 page paper due in a week and a half that I have just barely started even researching just makes me feel really nervous, you know? And knowing that I have an essay due in also a week and a half that I just got the prompt for like last week also makes me really, really nervous because it's a big project to work on. But I also know myself, and I know that I always get things done no matter how impossible it seems to me at the time. So I try not to stress too much about it, and I just like take things one bite at a time. There's this saying that I'm sure you've heard, and if you haven't, I'm going to share it with you as my wisdom for the day. And if you haven't heard it, you can just pretend that I said it. So the question is, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. An elephant is a huge, huge task, and the way that you eat it is by taking one bite at a time. And eventually you're going to run out of bites to take, you know? So that's kind of my philosophy, is to take big projects into bite-sized chunks, and that's kind of why we did the whole scheduling thing that I just showed you. Breaking projects down into smaller pieces makes them less scary and also easier to get done. Take things one bite at a time. Another thing that I'll mention while I'm sitting here is to use your little minutes. And by little minutes, I mean minutes are always the same length. I know I'm not stupid or anything, but if you have like things that you need to go to, or if you have things that you're doing, if you have time, like if you were making dinner, for example, and you know you have like 15 or so pages to read for this class, but you have to eat, you know? While you're waiting for the water to boil, if you're making pasta, you could be reading a couple of pages, you know, and that'll be less pages to read when you actually sit down to do it. You'll have already done something. And I think that that can work for big projects too. Take time that you wouldn't normally spend doing anything, or even that you would normally spend doing nothing, or just scrolling Instagram, or scrolling on Facebook, or whatever you like to scroll on these days. Use that time to work on your projects. Now, I need to take my own advice here because I have this problem that I've talked with my roommates about, and I think it's so funny and they think it's funny, but it's something that I can't seem to get past. But if I have something that I'm doing and then I have something that I need to do later, no matter how much time is between it, if I have something else coming up, I feel like I don't have any time in the world. This happens to me a lot on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I get out of class at 11 a.m. and I have an event that I go to at 8 p.m. on both of those days. So 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., I have all of that time, you know? But for some reason, because I have 8 p.m., something to do at 8 p.m., I don't feel like I have time to do anything. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to do this because I won't be able to finish it before 8 p.m. Which, that's just not the case, obviously. Obviously, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. is a lot of time. That's 9 hours to work, and yet I feel like I don't have enough time. And I know in my head that I have enough time, but also on the other side of my head I'm just like, I don't have time for anything, you know? So I need to stop that and just work on things when I have little minutes, you know? And I think that's great advice for you too. There is indeed one more thing that I want to talk about before we end today's video, and that is refreshing yourself and taking time to, take care of yourself, during this crazy, crazy time, as we all know. As you probably already saw in the video, I did a thing. I rearranged my bedroom. Let me just show you. I know I just walked away from it, so that was pretty silly. Disregard my ring light, I was using it. So if you remember, my desk was here and my bookshelf was there and my bed was over here. So I just kind of like rotated everything. So I put my bookshelf by the door, my desk over here with my light thing. I moved some tapestries and some decorations, and I put my bed over here. And now all my plants hang out over here. So I refreshed my room. I also cleaned my apartment. I cleaned the bathroom and the kitchen, and I vacuumed, and I put up some Christmas decorations. I don't have a lot, so there aren't a whole lot up, but I put them up to be festive, you know, because it's after Thanksgiving now, so I'm allowed. The point of this is to just like refresh your space, refresh your mind. Yesterday I also took a really long shower and I shaved my legs, which I haven't done in a long time, and I did a face mask, and I just feel fresh. Now, I'm super sick, as you might be able to hear. My nose is constantly running, and I'm full of mucus, and my throat kind of hurts a little bit, and I always feel so yucky right when I wake up because I haven't been breathing properly all night, you know? Yes, I take time to take care of myself. I made myself a nice dinner with like real vegetables last night. So taking care of yourself during this time is super important, and that doesn't mean that you have to do a face mask every night and then you have to like take a bath and like read to your heart's content or anything, because I understand that you might not have time for that, but taking time to take breaks is very important. If you remember on my schedule planner, I had a day that was blocked in yellow and I wrote take a break on it. I literally scheduled a day to take a break because I know I'm gonna need it at that time between Hell Week and finals. I am gonna have to take a break. And I even moved my break day around because I had it on Saturday, but I know for a fact that I'm going to take it on Friday. I just know. I thought it was silly to put it on Saturday knowing that I would take it a day early on Friday, so I just went ahead and scheduled it for Friday, you know? But the point is I scheduled in a day to take a break because it's very important to take care of yourself during this time when we have so much going on, you know, as students. Another thing I wanted to talk about is sickness. So this is a time of the year when sickness is just going around, you know. I already mentioned that I'm sick. When I don't take breaks, my sickness doesn't go away. Last year I had a cold from like November until March because I didn't stop to take care of myself. I didn't sleep it off. Even during winter break, I just didn't stop moving, you know, because I finally had time to do the things I wanted to do, but that ended up me being like doing everything all the time, you know, and taking care of yourself is super important. So with sleep, especially sleep during this time, I know you don't have a lot of time to do things, but sleeping is so important. If you don't take time to rest, your body will not recover well and you'll just feel more run down and it'll be harder for you to get things done. So please sleep during this time, because if you don't sleep, you're not going to feel well. And you need to feel well to do your best on your projects and tests and stuff. So I think that those are all the tips that I have for you. So let's just recap real quick. I had 6. This is only 5, but my other hand is busy. Make a list of everything so that you know what's coming up. Prioritize based on importance, length, and ease. Make a rough schedule to follow. Now, I didn't say that this is the schedule that is going to work. It's just a schedule to follow, because I never follow my schedule super well. I never follow it exactly, but it's kind of a rough guideline, you know, a rough schedule to follow. Take things one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Even though the task is daunting, just take your time, one step at a time, relax, it'll get done. 5, use your little minutes. There are times throughout the day where you're just sitting there doing nothing, scrolling through Instagram, waiting for the next thing to come. Use that time to get something done. Get just like a couple more minutes of that bite-sized chunk in to get your project done. And lastly, that we just talked about, don't forget to take care of yourself. Sleep, do a face mask every now and then, you know, shave your legs, whatever you need to do to feel good and refreshed. Rearrange your space, decorate. Don't spend all day doing those things, because that's not a good use of your time. Oh my gosh, there's a cat. Should I go out on the deck and talk to him? No, I shouldn't. Maybe I should. Well, anyway. Refresh your space, refresh yourself, take care of yourself, make sure you sleep. And yeah, good luck. I believe in you. I believe in me. Cheer me on in the comments, because this coming week is when all the things are due. I think that's all that I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you can join my family. Hit the little bell to get notified whenever I post a video so you don't miss it. And that's it. So have a great morning, and if I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.